indeed a rare privilege to be back here in Davao. The last time that I think I had preached in this church was not yet finished. You can even see outside, and it was not yet properly tiled. But now the Lord has tremendously blessed this church, and it's so good to be back. And thank you, Uncle Pipi, for the very warm and kind introductions. It is indeed a privilege to be introduced by your uncle, who is a model in our lives, together with his wife, who have really served the mission in Africa. And that's also one of the reasons why we continue to work there in Africa for the past 35 years now. You have somebody who has gone ahead of us, who has explored, and who has also showed us the best example. And today, it is a wonderful occasion to be here in the house of God. Before we go into our homily, shall we just ask God's divine presence to be with us? Dear Father, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to be back here in Davao and also here in this hospital and in this church. Thank you for all your blessings, your protection, and watch care. And as I'm going to break the bread of life, I pray that you are going to use my faculties, that you are going to speak through me. This is your time, dear Father. This is your word, and may it be that you are going to shine to me. And I pray that the waiting congregation will be able to catch a glimpse of your goodness, your mercy, and your love for each one of us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Well, I'm sure the festive occasion, the Yuletide season spirit is now floating in the air, and I'm sure many are anticipating for the coming Christmas. That's always one of the events that we as Filipinos look forward to. Whether you are age 2 to age 80, it is always a wonderful occasion to have Christmas. And of course, as young people, we always think now, what kind of gift we are going to receive, isn't it? I wonder, even though we are already old, we always think maybe somebody is going to give me something that I have been waiting for or looking forward. And this is exactly what happened to Solomon, when he actually became the king of Israel, when he inherited the throne from his father David. One night while he was visiting Gibeon, the Lord actually appeared to him in what seems to be a dream, but I think it was really the presence of God. And God comes up with a very exciting proposition. And I'm sure if we are going to be given this proposition, our minds are going to think hard. 2 Chronicles 1 verse 7. In that night did God appear unto Solomon and said unto him, what I shall give you. Ask what I shall give thee. Imagine the king of the universe, who has everything at his disposal, who has all the wealth and who has all the capacity in the universe, asks the question and gives it to Solomon and says, ask what you are going to ask from me, and I'm going to give it to you. Now, I know my sister, who is just here, who just walked in, if we're going to be asked a question, she's going to say, well, let me shop until I drop. And let me go to Dubai. And this is true because this is in what we call a once-in-a-lifetime offer. And it is a God who has all the resources, all the wealth, everything at his command. And he asked the question, Solomon, ask what you want, and I am going to give it to you. Now, you think about it in your present state right now, as you're listening to me. If God is going to ask you the question, what are you going to ask God right now? Well, maybe for a student who is struggling with what we call finishing a degree, or wanting to finish a degree soon, because we know that here in the Philippines, really one way of getting out of poverty and improving yourself is really getting a college degree, isn't it? It's going to be maybe nursing or engineering, or being maybe a medical doctor, or becoming a lawyer. Those are the things, yeah, students. Well, for some of us, maybe who are not contented with their blessed singleness, and are thinking of, maybe I should try to have somebody in my life, then you say, God, can you please send somebody who can be my partner, or my companion, isn't it? These are good, what we call requests from God, isn't it? us would say, God, you know, I need a new Mercedes-Benz, or maybe I need a new house. These are what we call good intentions, isn't it? But remember, God is only giving this offer once in a lifetime. Now, if you are going to be asked, what do you think is going to be your response? Given this opportunity that it is once in a lifetime. Now, we realize that Solomon actually came up with his request, and he says, okay, this is found in 2 Chronicles 1 verse 10, and this is the response of Solomon. Okay, starting from verse 9. Now, O God, let thy promise be unto my father David established, for thou hast made me king over the people like the dust of the earth in the multitude. So this is the reply of of Solomon. Give me wisdom and knowledge that I may go out and come in before these people, for who can judge this thy people that is so great? So now we have the response of Solomon, give me wisdom. Let us analyze the response of Solomon. Is it a bad choice? You know, if you're going to be given one in a lifetime, then you have to really evaluate very well. First of all, was it a bad choice? Second, was it a good choice? And number 3, was it the best choice? You have to match all this offer which God has given you. So you really have to come up with the best alternative. So you ask the question, you're going to evaluate Solomon and say, Solomon, was it a bad choice? Was it a good choice? Or was it the best choice? Now what do you think? It was not a bad choice after all, isn't it? Because God himself actually congratulated Solomon and said, Solomon, I congratulate you for actually asking for wisdom and knowledge. You have the password that is actually found in 2 Chronicles 1:11. And God said to Solomon, God was very pleased. Because it is in thine heart that thou hast not asked for riches, okay, or wealth, or honor, or the life of your enemies. Neither lest have you asked for a long life, but have asked wisdom and knowledge. For this myself I may judge thy people. And God gave him knowledge and wisdom. Now what do you think? Let me ask you the question. You agree that it was not a bad choice. You agree it was not only a good choice, but was it the best choice? What do you think? I'm sure as we were actually being grown up into this church, we always have been what we call prone to believe that it was the best choice. So let us evaluate Solomon. First of all, God congratulated him. You did not ask for riches. Now, which is more superior? Riches or wisdom? What do you think? Riches or wisdom? Because God said, congratulations, Solomon. You did not ask for riches, but instead you asked for wisdom. That means wisdom is more superior than wisdom. Isn't it? And it's true. Even if I'm going to give you a house full of money, for instance, I'm going to fill this building full of money, and I'm going to give it to you. If you are not smart enough to manage this money, it is just going to be lost, isn't it? Agree? So many parents who actually had hard work in earning a good inheritance for their children and gave it to their children, but because the children did not have the wise ability to be able to manage all their assets, and the next thing you know, the kids finish all the money, not only that, but starts to sell the property and they come up to be a pauper, isn't it? A very good example is actually Barbara Hutton, who was the heiress of Woolworths. I know you don't have actually Woolworth stores here in America, in the Philippines, but Woolworth used to be a very popular store in America. In fact, he started what we call a 5 and 10 cent store. And the grandfather, when he died, because he did not have any heir, the children of Woolworth actually died, so he gave his, what we call wealth, to his only grandchild, Barbara Hutton. Now the problem was that Barbara Hutton did not have what we call the imagination of how to be able to expand her wealth. And what she did, she just went from one party to the other, one party, and of course buy expensive dresses and jewelry. And finally, all the money that the grandfather had left her had come into nothing. In fact, when she died, she was a pauper, you see. So which would you now like to have? Riches or wisdom? What do you think? Riches or wisdom? Yes, wisdom, because wisdom is superior, because I tell you, even if you don't have money, but you are smart enough, you are going to have money. Agree? Example, Bill Gates. I don't know if you know the story about Bill Gates, the inventor of Microsoft. You know, IBM actually thought that the money was in the hardware, in the computer business. And so, but you see, a computer cannot run without what we call a software, as you know. You should have a program to be able to run the laptops, and the laptops are the computers. So IBM started to look for somebody who is able to come up with a program to be able to run computers. They went from one place to another. Faraday said, they went first of all to one of the competitors of Bill Gates, and they said, you know, we have this computer, but it cannot run without the software. Are you able to provide a program that is going to run this computer? Well, the guy actually said, you know, I'm playing golf today. Can you just come back next week? So he missed the opportunity. So the second person that IBM went was Bill Gates. And when they went to Bill Gates, they said, Bill Gates, could you provide for us a program that will be able to run this laptop or these computers? He said, okay, yes, what you can do is actually come back after 1 month and we are going to supply you with the software. And so IBM went. And when IBM went, his friend Paul Allen actually went to him and said, Bill, do you realize that we don't have the program? And Bill Gates said, yes, I know, we don't have the program. But I know of somebody who has the program and I'm going to buy it from him. You see? Just a matter of knowing where to get it. And of course, as we know, all the rest is history. Because you know, Microsoft right now, Windows is the main operating system of all the computers. You have your computers right now going, even this what we call PowerPoint that is going on here right now. As we are flashing this PowerPoint right now, the inventor of PowerPoint, Just the Brains, was able to get what we call a royalty just for using the program. And I tell you, if one of you here can actually invent the medications that is going to cure cancer overnight, you are going to be rich. So you can see now the superiority of knowledge. Not only that, but if you can actually invent a pill, listen ladies, if you can invent a pill that is going to make people slim, people lose weight, overnight you're going to be rich, because now that is number one of the medicines that can we get a pill that is going to make us lose weight just by sitting down. So now you can see that the reason why God had congratulated Solomon, because it is really true. Even without any money, if you are smart enough, just like Mark Zuckerberg, to think about how he had invented Facebook. And all of you now, I know you're using Facebook, isn't it? One of the biggest companies in the world is Facebook. Is Just Brains, my friends. Look at all the tech companies that are going on. These are basically just because of brains. So God said, okay, Solomon, congratulations. You did a very good choice. But the question is, did you do the best choice? Once in a lifetime, that means you really have to max out on the offer that God is giving you. So what do you think would be really the best option? Is it wisdom? Is it wisdom? It's true. Wisdom is very important. Okay? Now I know many of us have experienced this once in a lifetime decision. If you're going to look into our lives, many of us here are married, isn't it? Are we? Many of us here are married. And there is what we call only once in a lifetime choice. That means you have to pick up the best person who is going to be your wife or your husband. Question is, did you make really the best choice in getting your husband or wife? But I tell you, the good news is that even if you have to pick the best one in your life as the best, God can make your marriage the best. Isn't it? If you are going to put your lives into God's hand, no matter what marriage that you have, God can actually create a miracle and make your marriage the best. So do not despair and say, no, I'm so sorry, but I don't think if I had just married my former girlfriend or my former boyfriend, I think I'm going to enjoy it. My friend, now that you are married, stay in that marriage and let God work in that marriage so that it's going to become the best marriage. So now back. Is it a good choice? Is it a bad choice? Or is it the best choice? What do you think? Okay. Let's make an evaluation of Solomon to find out whether it was his best choice. Okay? Number one, true. Solomon was considered to be the wisest man ever who lived. Not only that, but God congratulated him and said, well, because you have not asked for wisdom, you have not asked for riches, I'm even going to give you riches. And it was said during the time of Solomon, gold was actually the main thing that was being used for the cups. Gold was ordinary. Oh, right now if you could just get 1 ounce of gold, oh wow. You're so happy, isn't it? But during Solomon's time, it was ordinary. So you can see that Solomon, if we are going to make what we call an audit into Solomon's life, and let us make an audit of Solomon's life, to find out about this gift of wisdom that was given to him, whether it was the best choice. Okay, number one, remember the time wherein Solomon was confronted with this child. There were two mothers, and the mothers were sleeping together and had a baby together, one baby, the mother. But it happened that the mother rolled over one of the babies, and the baby died. And the baby died, and so the mother, whose child died, got the live baby, and got into her, and she replaced the dead baby into the mother. And now, both mothers were claiming, whose baby is this? Isn't that? You know the story. And so they came to Solomon and said, we have a big problem here. These two mothers are actually claiming that this baby belongs to them now. What is your judgment? It might actually sound like a simple answer, but because we know how Solomon had dealt with it, it's very easy for us to gloss over what had happened. And so Solomon said, okay, let me see now. I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut the baby, and we're going to give half of the baby to the mother, one, and mother two, half of the baby. And so the dead mother said, she can actually have the baby. That was very smart, isn't it? Okay. And in fact, when people heard about the judgment of Solomon, they said, wow, God has really given him tremendous wisdom. Second thing, okay, he wrote the book of Songs of Solomon, a very beautiful love song. He wrote also the book of Proverbs, full of very interesting quotations on how to live life practically. And of course, the third is Ecclesiastes. Not only that, but he built also the temple of the living God. So you say, oh, congratulations, Solomon, very good. Yeah, you actually did. But let us go to the other side of Solomon to find out whether he really was smart enough. Okay? 1 Kings 11 verse 3. How many wives did Solomon have? How many concubines did he have? Oh, okay, very good Bible student. He had 700 wives. Now guys, I ask you the question, is that a smart move? Hey gentlemen, you tell me, is that a smart move to have 700 wives? What is difficult to handle, isn't it? Speaking from an experience or what? Or general? What is even difficult? How much more 700? So do you think it was wise? Now, he was the smartest man alive, and yet he comes up with 700 wives. Now, let us put it in what we call quantifying. If Solomon would actually fulfill his what we call matrimonial responsibilities, matrimonial responsibilities. And he would say, okay, what I'm going to do, my New Year's resolution for 2019 is to at least visit one wife every night. So that the wives are going to get one wife every night. So if he started from January 1, 2019, and he's going to be visiting all those 700 wives, when do you think is he going to be able to do again the first wife? He's going to have it by August 23, 2020. Wow. I can just say, so wow, this is really, hard work. If you are going to add 300 concubines, that means 1,000 women. If he is going to make a New Year's resolution to visit every one of them every night, he starts January 1, 2019. He would actually go to the first wife by September 2021. So now you ask the question, is he wise? Okay. The second thing, okay, let's go to the Island of Solomon. Idolatry was never actually introduced into Israel. The first king who actually introduced idolatry was Solomon. Corporate idolatry. You can find that in 1 Kings 11 verse 4. Okay? 1 Kings 11 verse 4, you can find out that Solomon actually was the first. Saul did not introduce idolatry. King David did not introduce idolatry. But when Solomon came into the picture, you know what actually started this idolatry? His wives. Okay? And that's what it meant, because your wives can greatly influence you. Okay? And so the women who were from Egypt, who were from Tyre, who were from Sidon, and all the neighboring countries, Solomon brought them to his kingdom. When Solomon brought them to his kingdom, then his ladies would say, you know, Solomon, I'm bored worshiping Jehovah. You cannot see Jehovah. Let me worship Baal or Ashtoreth or Molech. And then Solomon would say, you know the rules here. We do not worship idols. Okay, so what you can do is you go back to Egypt, you go back to Tyre and Sidon, and you can worship your idols there. And so the wives actually goes to Egypt and all of these neighboring countries. But how long do you think they can travel all the time? It's not like now that you can actually drive your Mercedes or your Mitsubishi Pajero. They were traveling by camels. Takes 3 months to reach, 3 months to come back. So finally, the wife said, okay, Solomon, I want to worship Baal. And Solomon said, you know, you just go back to Egypt and you worship your idols there. But Solomon, it's such a long journey. Please, can I just build an altar here for Baal? Come now, Solo, you know, those endearing words. Finally, because the wives keep on insisting, okay, honey, okay, you can start. And that's it. The wives started to build shrines for Baal, for Ashtoreth, and for Molech in the very presence of Israel. So now the wives were actually going to worship there. But finally they say, Solomon, can you please accompany me? That's how it is, my friends. It's going to be what we call a small evolution until finally you are into it. And finally Solomon agrees. He agrees to worship together with his wives in Israel. So you can see the big influence that your wives can cast on you. Okay. So now, is that wisdom? Is that wisdom? The third audit for Solomon is found in 2 Kings 12:4. Okay. You know, when Solomon died, his son Rehoboam came into his reign. And Rehoboam, when he met the Israelites said, okay, let's meet. And the Israelites pleaded with Rehoboam and said, Rehoboam, can you please make our taxation lighter? Solomon had imposed on us a heavy burden. Can you actually make that load lighter for each one of us? The reason why Solomon had to actually impose heavy taxation, number one, he had so many wives. 700 wives. Imagine feeding 700 wives. I mean, in Africa, we even have a president there, who used to be the president. He had 5 wives. And the nation was already complaining that it is so difficult to be financing these wives of the president. You get a BMW for them. You also get what we call bodyguards to watch these wives. How much more for 700? And so Solomon had to heavily tax the people of Israel, plus all of his building projects. And so the Israelites said, phew, this is hard. He actually imposed on us heavy taxation. can you kindly impose on us a lighter load? Rehoboam said, okay, you come back after 3 days and I'm going to tell you my response. What happened? Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, consulted with the old men. And the old men said, why can't you just talk nicely to the people of Israel so they're going to serve you? Okay, Rehoboam listened. Finally, he goes to the young men, and the young men said, why don't you tell these Israelites, my little finger is going to be thicker than my father's loin? Okay? So Rehoboam goes, and the Israelites actually rejected him. But it actually shows that Solomon really had imposed heavy taxation on the land of Israel. So is that wise? Even a lot of people right now, like for instance Macron in France, is actually having problems because people are protesting against his policies. But let us go into the word of Solomon himself. What does he say about wisdom? And you'd be surprised when he actually says in Ecclesiastes, okay? Ecclesiastes 2:15 and 16. Then said I in my heart, as it happened to the fool, so it happeneth even unto me. And why was I more wise than I said in my heart, this is also vanity. Here is Solomon himself actually coming up with a conclusion that even wisdom itself is vanity. Go to verse 16. For there is no remembrance of the wise more than that of a fool. My friends, was it the best choice? Hardly it wasn't the best choice. So now what do you think would be the best choice? If Solomon was going to be asked today, what do you think is going to be his response? First of all, you have to realize one of the things that he could have actually asked God, God, can you just give me eternal life? Isn't it? He missed the boat. Isn't it? Because even though you're going to have wisdom, you are still going to die. This is what he's actually trying to say. Okay? So let us have actually the analysis. The problem with wisdom is that it can be perverted. Some of us here are beautiful. God has given us the talents of being beautiful, isn't it? I can see so many beautiful ladies here. But don't you know that you can pervert your beauty? Yeah. Some of you have a lot of money, isn't it? Thank God for that. But you can also pervert money, isn't it? In the United States, they found out that men who are earning $30,000 a year, do you know how many percentage of them had girlfriends? Can you make a guess? People earning at $30,000 a year, what do you think is the percentage of them having an extramarital affair? About 25%. Now what do you think for the guys who are earning $70,000 per year? What do you think? Did the percentage go down or the percentage go up? Oh, you know. They found out that about 65% of the men who were earning $70,000 a year had extramarital affairs. So now I can, that's it, my friends, because riches, you can actually pervert riches. Similarly with beauty, similarly with talents, isn't it? Ezekiel 28:17. There was the guy who was given by God all the wisdom and the knowledge. That is Lucifer, isn't it? If there was anybody so smart and so knowledgeable and so wise, nobody could actually compete with Lucifer. Ezekiel 28:17. Thy heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Oh, watch out, ladies. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. That is the problem with wisdom. Just like any assets that God has given us, they can be corrupted. And this is also the reason why Lucifer thought himself to be smart and to be smarter than God, because God had given him the wisdom and said, I'm going to have a coup d'etat against God. You see? How many perverted wisdoms can we find? Well, they said that one of the best weapons, and maybe Jermaine Hampton can actually concur with me, is the AK-47 compared to the M16. The AK-47 has killed so many people people than any other weapons in war. I think part of it is because the AK-47, I mean, it was invented by Kalashnikov of Russia. This is what statistics they found has killed so many people compared to... Now, how did he invent the Kalashnikov or AK-47? Wisdom. I think we also know about the I love you virus. Now, the I love you virus is very popular as what we call as destroying the systems of computer, because it was something like a 16-year-old Filipino who actually released the virus into the internet. It had destroyed so many programs. It had caused so much havoc in the internet. Why? Wisdom, isn't it? To be able to invent an atomic bomb, you need wisdom. So now you can see that wisdom, if it is not properly being used, can actually lead to our self-destruction. So now if God is going to ask you, what can I give you that it is going to be the best choice in your lives? What do you think? Eternal life. It's good, eternal life, but I tell you, if you don't have the character of Jesus Christ, heaven is going to be hell. All of us have actually been taught, eternal life, salvation, which is true, but we have to realize that if God is going to give us eternal life right now, if we do not have the character of Jesus Christ, it is going to be so boring in heaven. Not only boring, but it is going to become hell. The best thing that we can ask really from God is found in Philippians 2. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Jesus Christ. Let this character of Jesus Christ be in you. Who didn't think it was robbery? Who came actually, and this is it. Well, thank you for the lady who actually sang. She was singing about, can people see Jesus in me? Let us just go and break it down. For instance, if we are going to all go to heaven, okay, we're going to have a mansion, and of course a mansion, because we're going to have the same type of mansion, and you are going to stay with your helper who is your next door neighbor. Would it be possible? Your helper having the same mansion as you, you're going to say, hey, down on earth, she was just my helper. And now she is having the same mansion as me. And because you are the jealous type, you keep on hankering, why is this lady actually having the same mansion with me? I'm going to make a protest. Okay, let us even make it more bizarre. How about the person who molests you? Hey, I'm sure a lot of people here have been molested, whether boys or girls. Sexually molested. You're quiet. I'm pinching a sore note. The person who actually molests you, and then this person is going to be in heaven, are you not going to start to make a protest against God? Or let us even make it worse. The person who raped you, the person who stole your husband is going to be in heaven to get... Or the person who stole your house, who swindled you in your business, and is going to be in heaven? Can you stomach that? Friends, we better actually analyze whether we really want to go to heaven. Because this is why it actually says, without the character of Jesus Christ, heaven is going to become hell. We're never going to enjoy it in heaven. First of all, Revelation, and they worship the Lamb day and night. Read the Revelation. And they worship the Lamb day and night. If you cannot even stand listening to a sermon for 30 minutes or 1 hour, how do you think you can enjoy it in heaven, worshiping God day and night? So this is not all, you see. Suppose you actually enjoy drinking. I don't know, 7 day Adventists say we should not be drinking, and that's true. And the first thing when you go to heaven, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to say, okay, please let's celebrate. Go the best champagne, go Perignon. And let's celebrate our reaching here in heaven. You call the angel, hey angel, please give us best champagne there is in the house. And the angels said, no, we only have what we call grape juice and apple juice. Boring. Friends, you might as well think really, because you see, the only way that we can actually enjoy it in heaven if we are going to have Christ-like character. In fact, it says here in Counsels to Parents and Teachers, page 24, Education, page 18, paragraph 4, Gospel Workers, page 25. Godliness and godlikeness is the goal to be achieved. It's not really salvation that we should be achieving. It is actually godlikeness and godliness. Because you see, if we are going to do that, we are truly going to enjoy it when we're going to go to heaven. I've decided to use some of these examples. Now, just example. Uriah and David are going to meet in heaven. Can you just imagine? Uriah is going to meet David, and Uriah says, hey, you're the guy who killed me, isn't it? This is a true story. We have actually Rupilin, was a missionary in Ethiopia. They went for a ride. It was their day off, and so they wanted to go to a nearby lake. And when they were going to the nearby lake, and all of a sudden, these rebels started to actually harass them. And because they were harassed, so they started to speed with their Land Rover. But as they were speeding, all of a sudden, these rebels in Ethiopia started to strafe them. And immediately, the husband, Gorospi, actually was killed, together with one of their helpers. The helper also died. The two children survived together with Rupilin Gorospi. The husband died. The helper died. Finally, the authorities were able to catch up with the killers of her husband, and they put this man into jail. You know what Rupilin did? She visited the guy in prison. And she said, Christ also died for this man. Even though he killed my husband, I'm going to see my husband in heaven. But this soul also needs to go to heaven. She gave the man Bible studies, and after giving Bible studies, this man who killed her husband got baptized. My friends, that is what we call the Christ-like character. And this is it. If you think about the Christ-like character, we always have the option of vengeance, isn't it? In everything that we do, some little annoyances would come into our lives. Some people hurt us. Some people steal from us. Some people cheat from us, isn't it? And what is the thing that we always think about? I'm going to make even, isn't it? But what is Christ's character? Forgiveness, isn't it? It's very easy for us when we hear salacious news. Oh, the best gossip in town. Wow. I cannot wait to spread this around. Gossip is really nice, isn't it? It's so palatable, isn't it? Everybody enjoys it. What do we want when we hear something bad news? Ooh, I can't wait to tell somebody. What's the option? Whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are of good report, those are the things we should deal with. And if we have the character of Jesus Christ, that is really what we're going to do. Forgiveness, you see. My friends, I pray that as we are going to approach this New Year season, and if God by any chance is going to ask us, what can I give you? And this is it because every day God is asking that question to each one of us. It was not a theoretical question that God has actually offered Solomon. It is an offer that God gives us every day. What can I give you? I pray you will not be asking for riches, for honor, for talents, for beauty. But rather, you're going to ask for the character of God. Because you see, if we have the character of God, God can give you anything. God can give you riches. Do you know that? God can give you beauty. God can give you talents because He knows you can be trusted. The reason why God is not giving all of this to us because it is even going to lead us to our self-destruction. Just a little riches and we already abuse it to even our helpers. How can God give you, if you cannot be responsible even for maybe about 500,000 a year, how much more if God is going to give you 5 million? Similarly, right now, you're beautiful. So a lot of people are beautiful here, just a little defect. And yet, what do we use our beauty? Do we use our beauty for God or for ourselves? In closing, Matthew 6:22 or 32. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all of these things shall be added. God actually is just waiting to give all the resources of heaven to us. But you see, He is just afraid that if He gives it to us and we do not have His character, we are going to destroy Himself. God bless us all.